quick little video on the supplements that I take daily and what they're sort of good for. Okay, hope this helps. Okay, so I'll start with this one. This is acetyl L-carotene, and it's an amino acid, and that helps improve brain function, muscle movement, mental and physical fatigue. It can also help with low testosterone levels, helps with depression. This one works better for the elderly for that. It can also help ease some of the withdrawals from alcoholism. 1 to 4 milligrams has been proven to help reduce nerve pain caused by diabetes or fibromyalgia, some cancer treatment drugs, and it helps with like Peyronie's disease, bipolar disorder, ADHD, abnormal cholesterol level even, the Fragile X syndrome, liver disease, and many, many more. This is a really good one. So this one here is Dribose, and it is a naturally occurring sugar that is produced by the body, and it aids in muscle function and heart function. So it's really good for people who have had like a coronary artery disease, chronic fatigue, congestive heart failure, McArdle's disease, restless leg syndrome, seizures, and of course with the fibromyalgia. So with fibro, as you know, your muscles and your nerves are all sort of intertwined together. One gets either feels stressed or overly exaggerates on what is actually happening, and it causes the other one to react. So that's why I use this. And then magnesium citrates, there we go, the English side, and that is a mineral. It's important for normal bone structure. It is also good for constipation, heartburn, heart disease, eclampsia, preeclampsia, asthma, cerebral palsy, cluster headaches. This one's apparently really good for dealing with cluster headaches. ADHD, bipolar disorder, depression, bronchitis, jellyfish stings. This is also my number 2 on my list for favorites from all the supplements that I take. This is inositol powder. It is a vitamin-like substance that is produced naturally by both plant and human and animals, and it can also be recreated in a lab. So there's 2 different types, well, 2 common types of forms of these, and they're isomers. The 2 isomers are mayo-inositol and D-chrono-inositol. Don't quote me on that last one. I believe that's what it's called. And they help with mental health disorders as well. And the way that this works, it helps balance out the chemicals in your body. So it works really well for people with fibromyalgia, because your nerves send signals to your brain then sends signals to your muscles, and if everything's sort of going on and wonky, this sort of keeps everything in check. It's also good for people with OCD, depression, helps insulin work for diabetics. It also helps with diabetic nerve pain, heart disease, some hormone disorders it's really good for, PTSD, people who have suffered from gout, which also has to deal with high pain levels and nerve damage, Alzheimer's and ADHD. I don't know if I said bipolar disorder. This is also my number 3 pick out of here. So this is number 2, number 3. Next we have omega-3. It is an essential fatty acid, most commonly found in fish, and that is the EPA and DHA. And then there's another essential acid that is in here, and that's ALA. And the ALA is actually found in plants, nuts, and seeds. This can help with triglycerides and joint pain. It also helps boost the efficiency of anti-inflammatory medication, can help with depression, visual and neurological development, lung function, helps with asthma, ADHD, Alzheimer's, dementia. Now, this can increase bleeding, so if you are on certain medications for, like, say, blood thinners or something, talk to your doctor first before you start taking these. So that brings us to our complex, our what is this? Yeah, our BComplex, which is a combination of the essential B vitamins all in one. That's good for mental health and to help metabolize carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, which I take for that reason only because I do sort of follow more of a keto type diet, and so that's higher fat, higher protein, almost no sugars, no carbs, which carbs get converted into sugars. So just to help aid with that, that's what I take those for. It's also really good for red blood cells, the formation of healthy skin, hair, eyes, helps with the liver, helps promote healthy stress levels and proper functioning of the nervous system. So really, really good for people with fibro. And then this is vitamin D3, which is what is it? Calciferol. That's the vitamin D, that's like the technical term. And this is naturally made by the body when the skin is exposed to sunlight. Now, these two sort of go hand in hand because vitamin B helps with vitamin D and vice versa. So, if you're going to take them together because it helps your body absorb them. It also helps in the absorption of, sorry, my brain is on fibro fog moment. Calcium, there we go. And this is fat soluble, so it does end up breaking down in the body. And it may interact negatively with other medications, so ask about this as well. So this and this, ask your doctor before you take. This is turmeric, and it's a spice that comes from a plant. So this is actually the root that's ground up and it comes in a little capsule, or you can actually use the actual root and either boil it or grate it in your food. It has a warm, bitter taste. Some people don't like it. If you take it in this form instead of in the natural root form, I find that it's a little bit easier for people to handle. The culinary world uses it to make the curry powder yellow, and just as like a regular spice. It is great for reducing inflammation in the body. So it's good for IBS, hay fever, osteoarthritis, high cholesterol, liver disease, Alzheimer's, dermatitis, and this also may help with a normal decline in memory and thinking skills that are obviously affected by age. So with fibromyalgia, you actually have quite a lot of those things, most of those things that I just listed off. It's also really good for like asthma, chest pain, sore muscles, and the blood flow to the heart. So yeah, everyone should take that. That's my #1 favorite out of all of this. So even for people who don't have fibromyalgia, it really, really, really does do a lot. And then the next one is my CBD oil. And this one is the TNR CBD oil, and it's called Titrate Up. I get this out of BC. I order it and they ship it to me, which is great. One of these probably does me about a month. I make them into capsules. You can just put like a dab under the tongue. By a dab, I mean like 1 dropper full. So this one is made up of olive oil, stevia, and indica blend. There's 14 milligrams per milliliter of CBD oil, and there's 1 milligram per milliliter of THC. That's the reason why I get mine from BC, because the distillery here in Ontario doesn't have anything that low in THC, and I tend to break out and have really adverse side effects to the THC level, so I can't have very much of that. And people would take this for treatment for anxiety, and it's anti-inflammatory, neuroprotective muscle spasms, reduces blood sugar, may also lower your blood pressure. It's great for people with Parkinson's disease and essential tremors. And if applied topically, it can treat psoriasis and eczema and other skin disorders. So if you put it on, and if you want, you can look it up at the Natural Remedy store. They have 2 different ones there for that, and they also deal with a couple other I guess forms of taking CBD as well. Okay, so we have my English side, Probiotics. This has 5 strands. You can get, I believe, right up to 10 or 12 strands. So this is a live bacteria that aids in digestion, and it lives, so this lives in your digestive tract, and it helps you basically break down and digest food better. It may also help with diarrhea, constipation, IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, IBD, which is irritable bowel disease, lactose intolerance, gum disease, eczema, upper respiratory infection. This actually, because you're absorbing a lot of the more nutrients out of your food, this is actually really good even if you're not, or you don't have fibromyalgia and you're not on like all these other supplements. So this lives actually in your gut, your mouth, and it is a good bacteria that you're putting in, and it is living. So that's different than these, which are enzymes. And they live, so this lives in your stomach, this lives in your digestive tract, and these enzymes help break down the food via a chemical response. So these are living and they help you themselves. They break everything down. This is a chemical reaction, and it can lessen stress, aging, poor nutrition. They aid in the digestion of high carbohydrates, proteins, fats. So with me being on the keto diet, these sort of help break it down, and I get more for my money out of my food. It's really good for balancing out your hydrochloric acid levels, chronic fatigue syndrome. It helps reduce inflammation and pains associated with the inflammation. Obviously, inflammation goes down, the pain goes down. Anxiety and memory, celiac disease, mental function. These again are also overall very, very good. People who have liver and kidney problems, they should really be looking into some of these. These are amino acids. These are my electrolytes, and electrolytes help because it's a chemical that conducts electricity when mixed with water. So you don't just eat this or take this. You can't sprinkle it on your food. You got to mix it in with water and drink it. It helps you stay hydrated, and it helps balance blood acidity. It can also help with blood pressure, damaged tissue, and they are naturally occurring in some foods, like, let's see, spinach, kale, celery, bok choy, and what else? Oh, yogurt, tomatoes, you can find electrolytes in. And they are sodium, chloride, potassium, magnesium, and calcium are all also considered electrolytes. So I take these once a day. I should probably take it a little bit. And this here is my keto amino acids. There's about 20 different types of amino acids, 9 of which are considered essential. And that means that you have to either consume like this or buy the naturally occurring in the foods that you eat. And they're mostly composed of nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. And they form up and create different chains. And your body needs all 20 of these to function properly. So when fibro strikes and your body's not doing what it should, it's always nice to be able to drink some water with this in it, and hopefully it gets you back on track. I just wanted to do I guess a brief little description of each one, and hopefully if you guys try it or test it out, one of those, I hope that you guys post it and let me know if you find that they help or not. Yeah, everybody stay safe out there, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
I am not a medical professional. I'm not a lawyer. Anything that's posted on my channel, I hope doesn't offend anybody. I'm just learning to live with fibromyalgia.